Anti-American NFL teams just took protest to disgusting new level with what they just did at London game over the last year. The American people have witnessed dozens of NFL players kneel during the national anthem. Instead of NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell stopping this disrespect, he has allowed it to continue, which has drawn the ire of sports fans around the country. Now, these arrogant anti-American players have taken their antics to a whole new level with what they just did in London. On Friday, President Trump began to blast the NFL for allowing football players to kneel during the national anthem. Trump then continued to criticizing the NFL on Saturday with a series of tweets. Of course, liberal NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell took the side of these arrogant players, saying that Trump's comments were divisive and lacked respect for the NFL. Divisive comments like these demonstrate an unfortunate lack of respect for the NFL, our great game and all of our players, and a failure to understand the overwhelming force for good our clubs and players represent in our communities. After receiving the green light, so to speak, from the Goodell, players decided to up the ante of their protest when dozens of players kneeled during the national anthem in London. About 24 players on both the Baltimore Ravens and Jacksonville Jaguars teams took a knee during the national anthem before the start of the team's game at Wembley Stadium on Sunday. Among those that took a knee during the national anthem were Ravens linebacker C.J. Mosley, wide receiver Mike Wallace and safety Lardarius Webb, as well as Jaguars linebacker Dante Fowler, defensive tackle Calais Campbell, defensive end Yannick Ngakoue and cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Dozens of NFL players for the Baltimore Ravens and Jacksonville Jaguars decided to kneel during the national anthem in a London game on Sunday. Here is more Daily Mail. Scores of NFL players have started kneeling during the national anthem in defiance of President Donald Trump just hours after he urged fans to boycott the league in his growing feud with athletes. The majority of Baltimore Ravens and Jacksonville Jaguars players took a knee ahead of their game at Wembley in London on Sunday. Those who didn't kneel linked arms in a show of solidarity as the national anthem rang out through the stadium. No players were kneeling during the playing of God Save the Queen, the British national anthem. Trump had earlier called for fans to boycott the NFL if players didn't stop disrespecting the U.S. by kneeling during the national anthem. Trump had earlier denounced the protests by NFL players and rescinded a White House invitation for NBA champion Stephen Curry in a two-day rant that targeted top professional athletes and brought swift condemnation from league executives and star players alike on Saturday. Early Sunday morning, Trump continued his Twitter tirade and called for an NFL boycott. If NFL fans refuse to go to games until players stop disrespecting our flag and country, you will see change take place fast. Fire or suspend. Trump tweeted. NFL attendance and ratings are way down. Boring games, yes, but many stay away because they love our country. League should back you.s. Several NFL players, starting last season with then San Francisco quarterback Colin Kaepernick, have either knelt, sat, or raised fists during the anthem to protest police treatment of blacks and social injustice. Last week at NFL games, 4 players sat or knelt during the anthem, and 2 raised fists while others stood by the protesters in support. That's a total disrespect of everything that we stand for, Trump said, encouraging owners to act. He added, "Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, you'd say, 'Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired.'" On Saturday, Trump echoed his stance. If a player wants the privilege of making millions of dollars in the NFL or other leagues, he or she should not be allowed to disrespect our great American flag or country, and should stand for the national anthem, Trump tweeted. If not, you're fired. Find something else to do. This latest protest is the last straw with these ungrateful millionaire athletes. These players have no idea what they are even protesting and do not realize that they are just being used as pawns. If they have an issue with law enforcement, there are plenty of other ways to get their point across without disrespecting our country's veterans. Men and women fought to defend our freedom, and the least they can do is show that respect. When it is not a game day, they are more than free to discuss what issues they have, but this is not the way. Every time they kneel, whatever message they had is lost because they are showing no respect. It is about time that these players get off their knees and talk to those that have been handed that flag and see how that means to them. Of course, these players have the freedom to protest and air whatever grievances they have, but there is a time and place to do it, and on the field is not it. Share if you are sick of these arrogant NFL players and their sick protest.